During the time Xerxes was building up his second army, he decided to bridge the Hellespont to transport his troops across. He also built a canal along the isthmus of Mount Athos to avoid the tragedy that struck their fleet in 492 BC. However, before his army could use the bridge to cross the Hellespont, a storm rolled in and destroyed all the work. Xerxes was angered and ordered the Hellespont 300 lashes and proceeded to build another bridge. Xerxes marched 200,000 men, with some reports as high as 2.5 million, but 200,000 is a more realistic number that we will be using. His naval fleet consisted of 1,207 triremes. Meanwhile, in Greece, a vast amount of silver was uncovered in a mine at Larium, and Themistocles, the most influential politician in Athens, ordered 200 ships to be built with the newfound wealth, as he believed a strong navy would be needed to resist the Persians. Demaratus of Sparta, who had defected to the Persians after his humiliation, sent a blank wax tablet to Sparta, and when the wax was removed, a message was revealed about Xerxes' plans. The Greeks set aside their disjointed relationships and united to fight a common enemy. The Greeks at first sent 10,000 men to defend the Vale of Tempe, but was warned by the king of Macedon, Alexander, that the Persians could bypass them on a different route and trample them. The Greeks then left and considered where to wage the war, and decided on the pass of Thermopylae, called the Hot Gates, since it was narrow. The fleet would go to Artemisium, since it was also near. Before we get into the epic Battle of Thermopylae, let's compare the two armies. The Persian army consisted of around 200,000 infantry, while the Greeks had only 6,100. The Greeks didn't have to move, and were on the defensive in the narrow pass, so their numbers became less of a factor. The Persians, because of their large army, could not remain in the same place for long, so they had to either retreat or advance. Tactically, the Hot Gates was suited for the Greek style of warfare, using the hoplite phalanx, and could block the pass with ease with no risk of being outflanked. Okay, I can't wait to get into this. Let's begin. 5 days passed until Xerxes finally decided to attack the Greeks, which began the first day of battle. First, he ordered 5,000 archers to fire arrows from 100 yards away, but the Greeks' bronze shields deflected the arrows. The Persians soon launched a frontal assault of about 10,000 men. The Greeks fought in front of the Phocian wall at the narrowest part of the pass, so they used less soldiers. The Greeks consistently switched out soldiers to prevent fatigue. Xerxes stood up from his throne watching the battle unfold and his units destroyed. Very few Greeks died, so Xerxes sent his best troops, the Immortals, an elite force of 10,000 men. The Spartans used a tactic of feigning retreat, which is when they pretend to withdraw or run away in order to lure the enemy into vulnerability. By the end of the first day of battle, the Persians have already lost 20,000 men. On the second day, Xerxes sent in more infantry to attack, assuming that the Greeks were wounded and could no longer resist. However, the Persians had no success, so Xerxes stopped the assault and withdrew to camp perplexed. Later that day, while Xerxes was pondering what to do next, a defector named Ephialtes informed him of a mountain path around Thermopylae. Ephialtes was motivated to defect by the desire for a reward. This is why Ephialtes means nightmare in the Greek language, to symbolize this traitor. Xerxes sent his commander that evening to encircle the Greeks using this path with 20,000 men. The path led behind the cliffs that flanked the pass. On the third day, the small Greek force guarding this secret pass became aware of the Persians flanking them by the rustling of leaves. The Greeks guarding this secret pass retreated to a nearby hill, and the Persians shot a volley of arrows at them, then moved on, not wishing to be delayed in encircling the main Greek force. A runner came to Leonidas stating that the Greek force at the pass failed to hold. Leonidas called a war council at dawn where Greeks argued whether to withdraw, but the Spartans resolved to stay at the pass, and Leonidas told his Greek allies to leave if they wanted to. Only 2,000 soldiers stayed behind. The Immortals descended the mountain, and Xerxes' army began their advance. A Persian force of 10,000 comprising of mainly light infantry and cavalry charged at the front of the Greek formation. The Greeks ran from the wall to meet the Persians in a wider part of the pass, in an attempt to defeat as many of them as they could, as they knew they would fail. Two of Xerxes' brothers died, and Leonidas was shot down by archers, and the two sides fought for his body, with the Greeks winning. As the immortals approached, the Greeks withdrew and took a stand on a hill behind the wall. The Thebans surrendered, but many were slaughtered before their surrender was accepted. Xerxes teared down part of the wall, and Xerxes surrounded the hill, and the Persians rained arrows at them until every last Greek was dead. The pass at Thermopylae was now open to the Persian army at the cost of 20,000 Persian fatalities and at least 2,000 Greeks. The Persians usually treated valiant warriors with great honor, but Xerxes in a rage ordered Leonidas' head removed and desecrated his body. After the Persians' departure, the Greeks buried their dead in a hill, and a stone lion was erected at Thermopylae to commemorate Leonidas. At the same time the Greeks were attempting to hold the Persians back at the Hot Gates, a simultaneous naval blockade was ensuing to hold the Persian naval fleet back. Perhaps they were successful? Let's find out in the next episode. Thank you all for watching.